Okay, today's video is a little bit different than the usual videos I post. Today's video is specifically for musicians, or I guess artists of any art form, who work with children. You're going around schools and you get asked to do a workshop or a concert in an autism class and you're not sure where to start. Here's a little bit of advice to get you started. Obviously, this video isn't going to be comprehensive because it's going to be about a minute long, but hopefully it'll get you started on the right foot. So first off, before you set foot in the door, you're going to want to do a little bit of research. Unfortunately, there is a lot of bad advice out there. I don't want to scare anyone off, but even with the best of intentions, if you listen to that bad advice and take it on board, you can do real harm. And you don't want to. You want to make that child's day better, not worse. And you can. So you're going to look for neuro-affirmative or neurodiversity affirmative sources. I'm going to list some of them here that might be useful. One thing to look out for that is a green flag is that the experts on autism are autistic people. So look for resources that are written for, that are made by autistic people, that cite autistic voices, organisations that are owned by or employ autistic people. Unfortunately, the terms neuroaffirmative and neurodiversity affirmative sometimes get co-opted, so it's not a guarantee that just because a source says it's neuroaffirmative, that it is. But if it's made by autistic people, if it's citing autistic voices, you're probably on the right track. Next up, you get into the classroom. It's important to understand that those children are probably going to have all sorts of different ways of communicating. They might have different communication styles. They might not speak. They might use an AAC. They might use gesture and body language in a way that you're not expecting. But it's really important to know and understand that even if you are struggling to know or to understand what they're communicating, what their wants or needs or preferences or boundaries are, it's important to understand that that child, every child, has their own unique wants, needs, preferences, boundaries, and that they should be respected as best you can. I know there might be a communication barrier, but at least start from the understanding that they have them and that they are valid. So, for example, you come around with a violin and you're showing it to the children and you invite them to pluck the strings. And a child communicates to you that they don't want to. They say no, or they push it away, or they walk away. There could be loads of ways they try to communicate it, except the no. That might seem really obvious, but unfortunately, often those boundaries aren't respected. And you might be thinking to yourself, but I've been paid to come all this way. I need to teach these children about music. How are they ever going to learn about the violin if they don't pluck the string? If you come away from that workshop and there's a child who doesn't engage musically at all, doesn't pluck a string, doesn't sing along, doesn't clap or shake a shaker or whatever it is that you thought they might do, but you've respected their boundaries, they have learned a lesson that is so much more important than whatever music lesson about the violin you had intended on teaching. They are learning that their boundaries and preferences are important and should be respected by adults, and they're learning to trust you. Maybe if you come back another time, they'll know you and trust you a little bit more next time, and maybe they'll pluck the violin string that time, or maybe not. Now, I'm not saying I've always gotten this right, and it's something that I continue to try to learn about and do better. You're not always going to get it right. I don't always get it right. But it's important to at least begin with the right intention of trying to understand that child. I have in the past sometimes tried to describe or show people the activities that I do in autism classrooms. But I think sometimes what happens without that first level of basic understanding is people get caught up with the props, with the physical object, and think that that is the important thing. You know, that if you just buy the right fidget toy, those things can all be great tools, but they're not the thing doing the communicating. It's you. You have to go in with the intention of wanting to and trying to understand the child. No amount of props will do that for you.